High school. The place where we find love, make memories, and sometimes experience the deepest heartbreaks. For Jack and Lily, it was supposed to be forever. But sometimes, even the strongest relationships aren't as perfect as they seem. Before we dive deeper into their story, if you're enjoying the journey so far, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share with someone who might need to hear this story. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories like this to life. Now, let's get back to Jack and Lily. Jack and Lily had been inseparable since the day they met in 10th grade. Their connection was instant, undeniable. From the moment their eyes met in the crowded hallway, something clicked. They didn't need words, there was an understanding between them. It wasn't just infatuation, it felt like destiny. As they spent more time together, Jack became Lily's constant. She was his calm in the storm, and he was her protector in a world that often seemed too overwhelming. Their love was like something out of a storybook. They shared dreams, plans for the future, their own inside jokes. They talked about marriage, about starting a family one day. Their friends would joke, saying they'd probably get married right after graduation, but for Lily and Jack, it wasn't a joke. It was a promise. A promise that no matter what came their way, they would be together. But as perfect as their relationship seemed, it wasn't immune to the challenges that all relationships face. It was just that Lily didn't see the small cracks forming until it was too late. Jack had always been a little distant during tough times. He wasn't the type of person who wore his emotions on his sleeve, and Lily accepted that. She thought his quiet moments were just his way of processing things. However, things slowly started to change. Jack's emotional distance wasn't just temporary anymore. He started pulling away from Lily more and more. He canceled plans, came up with excuses for why he couldn't hang out, and gradually stopped texting her back. It wasn't dramatic at first. It was subtle, a few missed calls here and there, a message that went unanswered. But Lily, who was used to having Jack always available, couldn't ignore the sinking feeling in her chest. It wasn't until late one fall afternoon that Lily first saw something that confirmed her worst fears. She had just finished a grueling math test and was waiting for Jack outside their school's main entrance. Normally, Jack would have been waiting for her with a smile, a hug, or some teasing comment to make her laugh. But this time, he wasn't there. Lily waited in the chilly breeze, her breath visible in the crisp air. She checked her phone. No message from Jack. No apology for being late. That wasn't like him. She turned around, scanning the parking lot for him. And then, she saw him. Jack was standing by the front steps, talking to a girl Lily didn't recognize. They were laughing together. Really laughing, as though they shared a joke only they understood. It was too much, too intimate. Lily froze. The cold wind seemed to pierce her, making her heart race. She told herself she was imagining things, that Jack was just being friendly. But the look on his face, the way he smiled at the girl, told her a different story. Something had shifted. There was something more going on. Her heart pounded as she stood frozen, watching them. She didn't want to feel the jealousy rising inside her, but she couldn't stop it. She could tell, even from a distance, that the way Jack was looking at this girl was different from the way he looked at her. The laugh they shared, the lightness in his eyes, it wasn't the way he acted when he was with her. And then, Jack looked up. His eyes met Lily's, and for a moment, they locked in silent recognition. Lily could see the panic in his eyes, and it made her stomach drop. She wanted to run to him, to ask what was going on, but her legs wouldn't move. The moment stretched on, and Jack quickly turned his attention back to the girl, but not before Lily saw the guilt on his face. Her phone buzzed in her hand. It was a message from Jack. "Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. See you in a few. Lily didn't answer. She couldn't. Her mind was racing with questions, doubts. Something was wrong. She had to know the truth. The following days felt like a blur. Lily tried to ignore the feeling in her gut, the creeping sense of unease that seemed to follow her everywhere. But Jack's behavior was becoming harder to ignore. His texts were short, his responses even shorter. When they hung out, he was always distracted, checking his phone, looking over her shoulder as if he was waiting for something or someone. Lily wasn't the type to confront him without proof, but the evidence was stacking up, and she couldn't pretend anymore. Every moment spent with Jack felt like a quiet warning. It wasn't the boy she had fallen in love with. He was slipping through her fingers, and she couldn't stop it. One afternoon in their study hall, Lily sat next to Jack, trying to focus on her homework. Her phone buzzed with a new notification. She glanced down, expecting another message from her mom, but it was from an unknown number. She opened the message, and her heart stopped. It read, "I can't stop thinking about you, Jack. I miss you so much." The words swirled in her mind, crashing through her thoughts like a wrecking ball. She looked at Jack. He was sitting next to her, completely unaware of what was happening. The image of him laughing with that girl earlier flashed in her mind. Her hands shook as she reread the message. There was no denying it now. There was someone else. Lily felt sick. She didn't know what to do. She couldn't just sit here and pretend everything was fine. Her heart ached as the truth settled in. Jack had betrayed her trust, and now, she had the proof. She couldn't stay in the study hall any longer. The room felt too small, the air too thick. She couldn't breathe. Her heart pounded in her chest as she grabbed her bag and rushed out the door. The confrontation was inevitable. That afternoon, Lily met Jack at their usual spot, behind the school, near the old oak tree where they had spent countless hours talking, laughing, and dreaming about the future. It had always been their place, a place where everything felt right. But today, it felt like a battlefield. Jack greeted her with a smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. He looked nervous, and for the first time, Lily realized that he was avoiding her gaze. She could feel the tension between them. "Jack," Lily started, her voice tight with emotion. "I need to ask you something. Who is this girl you've been texting?" Jack's face drained of color. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. His eyes flickered around, looking everywhere but at her. "Don't lie to me, Jack," Lily said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I saw you with her. I know what's going on. How long has this been happening?" Jack's mouth worked as though he were searching for the right words, but they didn't come. Finally, he sighed, his shoulders sagging in defeat. "Lily, it's not what you think. I swear." Lily felt a fire ignite inside her, the anger burning away the sadness. "How long, Jack? How long have you been lying to me?" Jack closed his eyes, unable to meet her gaze. "It was just a few weeks," he muttered, his voice barely audible. "It didn't mean anything. I was confused, okay. I made a mistake, and I didn't want to hurt you." Lily's eyes burned with unshed tears. "You think that makes it okay? You think that's all it was? A mistake?" She took a step back, her chest tightening. "I trusted you, Jack. I loved you. And now, I don't even know who you are anymore." She turned away, not waiting for him to respond. She couldn't bear to hear his excuses, his apologies. She had given him everything, her trust, her heart, and he had shattered it. As she walked away, she felt a sense of finality settle over her. It was over. She had to move on. There was no other choice. If you're moved by Lily's journey and want to see more stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support makes all the difference and helps us tell more heartfelt stories. Thank you for being part of this. The weeks after the confrontation were the hardest of Lily's life. She couldn't avoid Jack, but she avoided his eyes. Every time she saw him in the halls, it felt like a knife twisting in her chest. He sent her messages, left notes on her locker, and even came to her house, but Lily couldn't bring herself to forgive him. She couldn't forget what he had done. Her friends tried to comfort her, but they didn't understand. They couldn't understand how much it hurt to be betrayed by someone you thought you would spend forever with. How do you move on from something like that? Prom was approaching, and Lily didn't know what to do. She had always imagined going with Jack, making new memories, celebrating the end of high school together. But now, everything felt tainted. Lily stood in front of her closet the night of prom, staring at the dress she had bought months ago. She didn't want to go. She didn't want to face him, to see him laughing with that girl, to pretend everything was okay. But then something inside her shifted. She wasn't going to let Jack's betrayal steal this moment from her. She deserved to have fun. She deserved to reclaim her night. When Lily entered the ballroom, she was surrounded by her friends. Her laughter was genuine for the first time in weeks. She danced, she smiled, and she didn't think about Jack. But then she saw him. There he was, standing in the center of the dance floor with his arm around the other girl. They were laughing, just like they had been that afternoon. They looked so perfect together, it felt like a punch to her gut. Lily's heart sank, and for a moment, she thought she couldn't breathe. But then something unexpected happened. Instead of feeling anger or sadness, she felt something else. She felt free. It was over. And in that moment, she realized it didn't matter anymore. The following weeks were a whirlwind of emotions. Lily threw herself into her studies, her friends, and her family. She worked on healing herself, piece by piece, each day a little easier than the last. She felt herself becoming stronger, more confident, and more independent. One day, Jack reached out again. He wanted another chance to fix things. But Lily had already moved on. She didn't need closure. She had found peace within herself. I don't need closure from you, Jack. I've already moved on. And with that, she let go of the past. She walked away stronger than she had ever been, ready for whatever the future held. If you connected with Lily's story, make sure to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for being part of this journey. Until next time, remember, sometimes, letting go is the only way to move forward.